Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
I like that. Casual and insightful, that's what we aim for.
Right. We want to make tech accessible and entertaining because, let's be real, sometimes it can feel like you need a PhD just to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. It's a fire hose of information out there.
This week is no exception. We got a stack of articles and research that's got us buzzing. Everything from a WhatsApp update that has iPhone users excited to AI image generation going into overdrive. We even got some juicy bits about electric vehicles and a few eyebrow-raising political moves.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Let's dive in.
Let's start with the WhatsApp news. Big changes for iPhone users with this latest update.
Yeah, version 25.8.74. Specifically, if you're running iOS 18.2 or higher on your iPhone, you can now set WhatsApp as your default app for calls and messages.
Finally, no more accidentally opening the regular Messages app when you're trying to WhatsApp someone.
It's the little things, right?
It's a quality of life improvement for sure. I'm sure a lot of iPhone users are going to be happy about this.
And it's interesting because it shows that Apple might be becoming more open to letting third-party apps take over some of those core phone functions. You know, historically, they've been pretty locked down in that regard.
It's a shift for sure. And speaking of shifts, have you seen what's happening with AI image generation? OpenAI's new high-quality image generator for ChatGPT has basically broken the internet.
It's been wild. The demand is so high that OpenAI's servers are struggling to keep up. Sam Altman, the CEO, even joked about their GPUs melting.
CPUs melting?
Yeah, you know, those are the powerful processors that handle all the AI stuff. It just shows you how computationally intensive these AI models are. To cope, OpenAI had to put temporary rate limits in place to prevent a total meltdown.
So basically everyone's got to take turns making AI art now.
Pretty much. But it's understandable when you see the results. Have you seen all the Studio Ghibli-style images popping up everywhere?
My entire social media feed is basically Ghiblified at this point. It's beautiful, but it also brings up an important conversation about the role of AI in art.
Right. On one hand, you have these incredible tools that are democratizing creativity, making it possible for anyone to create stunning visuals. But then there's the debate about what it means for professional artists.
It's a complex issue with no easy answers. And it's interesting to see how figures like Hayao Miyazaki, the legendary animator behind Studio Ghibli, view this technology.
Yeah, Miyazaki has expressed some serious reservations about AI animation. He sees it as fundamentally different from human artistry.
Makes you think, doesn't it? Let's shift gears from the digital world to the real world for a moment, specifically the world of electric vehicles. Lucid Motors is getting ready to ramp up deliveries of their Gravity SUV starting next month. That's April 2025 for those keeping track.
And they're not wasting any time. They started taking orders back in November of 2024 and even had some early deliveries to employees and friends and family in December.
So they're moving quickly. I guess they're confident in their production capabilities.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how the Gravity stacks up against the competition.
Absolutely. The SUV market is hot right now, and Lucid is aiming to make a splash with the Gravity. Speaking of big moves, Elon Musk has done it again. His XAI company has officially acquired X.
You mean Twitter?
Yeah, well, it's X now. I still haven't gotten used to that.
It does feel weird to say, doesn't it? So what's the deal with this acquisition?
So the reported valuation for X in this deal is around $33 billion, and the combined entity is being valued at a whopping $80 billion. That's with a B.
That's a lot of zeros.
It is. And one of the key things to keep in mind is that XAI already has its large language model, Grok, integrated into X.
So Grok, for people who aren't familiar, is kind of like ChatGPT. It's an AI trained on a massive data set of text and code.
Exactly. And now that XAI owns X, we can probably expect to see even deeper integration of Grok and maybe even some new AI-powered features on the platform. It's all part of Elon Musk's grand vision of merging AI and social media.
It's definitely a bold move. Let's talk about something that could hit people's wallets a little closer to home. President Trump has just slapped a hefty tariff on imported cars.
Yeah, 25% on all cars coming into the U.S., including those from Mexico and Canada. And there are tariffs on certain car parts, too.
So what does this mean for consumers?
Well, the experts are saying it's likely to increase the cost of new and used cars.
Ouch.
It's not great news for buyers, but it could be a boon for some domestic car manufacturers.
Like Tesla.
Right. Tesla, being a major player in the US EV market, could see a boost from these tariffs. Their cars will become relatively more affordable compared to imported ones.
Especially if those imported cars are also electric.
Exactly. And of course, we can't ignore the fact that Elon Musk has been a vocal supporter of President Trump, even financially.
It's interesting how all these pieces connect, isn't it? Now for another curveball. Trevor Milton, the founder of Nikola, has been pardoned by President Trump.
Yeah, that was a surprise, especially considering the circumstances.
For those who need a refresher, Nikola was that hydrogen trucking startup that went bankrupt after Milton was convicted of fraud.
Right. So this pardon is definitely going to raise some eyebrows. It's a pretty controversial use of presidential power, to say the least.
Back to electric vehicles. Lucid is apparently thinking about teaming up with another company to boost the autonomous driving features of their cars, especially the new Gravity SUV.
Yeah, there's talk that they might partner with Mobileye, which is known for its advanced driver assistance systems.
That makes sense. Developing truly self-driving technology is a massive undertaking. Partnering with a company that already has expertise in that area could give Lucid a big advantage.
It would definitely speed things up for them. Now let's switch gears to the world of tech media. TechCrunch has just been acquired by a private investment firm called Regent.
Interesting. What does that mean for TechCrunch?
Well, we don't know all the details yet. The financial terms haven't been disclosed. But it is worth noting that Yahoo Holdings, the previous owner, will keep a small stake in TechCrunch.
So Yahoo's not completely out of the picture.
Right. It'll be interesting to see how this change in ownership affects TechCrunch's editorial direction and overall strategy.
Definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some startups that are making waves. We got a whole bunch of funding announcements to go through.
Yeah, the money is flowing in the startup world. Let's start with Better Fleet. They just raised $15 million for their EV charging fleet management software.
So basically, software to help companies manage all those electric vehicle chargers.
Exactly. And this just shows that the EV infrastructure space is heating up. Then we have the Bot Company, founded by Kyle Vogt. They secured a massive $150 million for their robotics ventures.
Okay, now we're talking serious money. What kind of robots are we talking about here?
Well, that's the interesting part. The Bot Company is kind of secretive about their specific projects, but with that kind of funding, you can bet they're working on something big.
I'm intrigued. Let's keep going.
Okay, next up is D-Charge. They raised $2.5 million for, you guessed it, EV charging infrastructure.
More charging stations. The future is electric. What else?
Fleetio snagged a whopping $450 million for their vehicle fleet software management. They even used some of that money to buy another company called Auto Integrate.
That's a power move.
It is. And for those who prefer their deliveries by air, the drone delivery company Mana raised $30 million.
Drones delivering packages. That still feels futuristic.
It does, doesn't it? And finally, we have also a spin-out from Rivian. They're focused on electric micromobility and just secured $105 million in funding.
So electric scooters and bikes and things like that. It's amazing how much innovation is happening in the transportation sector.
It is. And all this funding activity just shows that investors are betting big on the future of transportation.
For sure. Now let's talk about Waymo, Google's self-driving car company. They're setting their sights on Washington, D.C.
That's right. They've announced plans to offer robo-taxi rides in D.C. via their Waymo One app starting in 2026.
So driverless taxis in the nation's capital, that's a pretty big deal.
It is. But there's a catch. Current regulations in D.C. require a human driver to be present in autonomous vehicles.
So Waymo's going to have to do some serious lobbying to get those rules changed.
They will. They need to secure commercial launch permits for fully driverless operation. It's a classic example of technology moving faster than the laws that govern it.
It's a common theme these days. Now, Cadillac has just unveiled its new electric SUV, the Optic.
It seems like every car maker is jumping on the EV bandwagon these days.
And for good reason. The demand for electric vehicles is only going to grow. It's interesting to see how traditional brands like Cadillac are adapting.
They're having to evolve or get left behind. The Optic is a sign that Cadillac is serious about electrification, and they're trying to offer a more affordable option alongside their flagship Escalade IQ.
Speaking of affordable options, Revel, the company known for its electric mopeds, has just launched its first fast-charging station for electric vehicles in San Francisco.
This is a big deal for Revel. They're expanding beyond just those mopeds and getting into the EV charging game.
It makes sense. They're already in the transportation space. And charging infrastructure is crucial for the widespread adoption of EVs.
Absolutely. The more charging stations there are, the more convenient it is to own an EV.
For sure. Now, if you're a Waze user on an iPhone, you might have noticed something missing lately.
What's that?
Google Assistant. Waze has removed it from their iOS app.
Oh, really? Why'd they do that?
They said it was because of some ongoing technical issues.
That's too bad. Google Assistant was pretty handy for voice commands in Waze.
I know. But Waze says they're working on an enhanced voice interaction solution to replace it.
Well, hopefully it'll be worth the wait. In other news, the tech industry is going through some growing pains. Block, the company behind Cash App and Square, has laid off over 900 employees.
931 to be exact. That's a lot of people.
It is. And unfortunately, Block isn't alone. We've seen a number of tech companies announce layoffs recently.
It seems like the tech boom is finally slowing down a bit.
That's one way to put it. Another tech company facing some challenges is Cerebra's Systems. They're an AI chip maker, but their IPO has been delayed again.
What's causing the delay this time?
A national security review. Apparently, the government wants to take a closer look at Cerebra's technology before they go public.
It makes sense. AI is a sensitive area, especially when it comes to national security.
But on a more positive note, we did see a nuclear startup go public recently. Terrestrial Energy, which is developing small modular reactors, went public via a SPAC.
For those who don't know, a SPAC is basically a shell company that merges with a private company to take it public more quickly.
Exactly. And Terrestrial Energy is betting that small modular reactors are the future of nuclear power. It's a more flexible and potentially safer approach than traditional nuclear plants.
Interesting. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows in the startup world. Plenty, a vertical farming company, has filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah, that's a tough one. They had raised almost $1 billion in funding, but it wasn't enough to keep them afloat.
It just shows you that even with a lot of money, success isn't guaranteed.
Especially in a challenging industry like vertical farming.
Shifting gears to the world of AI acquisitions, there's a rumor that NVIDIA is about to buy Lepton AI.
NVIDIA is the big name in AI chips, and Lepton AI provides access to servers powered by NVIDIA's chips, so it would be a strategic acquisition for NVIDIA.
Makes sense. And there's another interesting AI story. Furiosa AI, a South Korean AI chip maker, reportedly turned down an $800 million acquisition offer from Meta.
$800 million? That's a lot of money to say no to.
It is. But maybe Furiosa AI thinks they can do even better on their own.
It's a bold move. Speaking of bold moves, digital banking startup Mercury just raised $300 million.
And that more than doubled their valuation to $3.5 billion.
That's a huge vote of confidence from investors. It shows they believe in Mercury's vision for the future of banking.
Another company that's seeing its valuation soar is Island. They make an enterprise browser, and they just secured $250 million in funding.
And that puts their valuation at $4.85 billion. It seems like security is a hot topic these days, and Annie Islands is capitalizing on that.
Their whole pitch is that their browser is built with security in mind. It's a browser designed for businesses that need to keep their data safe.
Makes sense. Data breaches are a nightmare for any company.
Absolutely. Now, Anonade, a workflow automation startup, just raised $60 million.
Workflow automation is a fancy way of saying making businesses more efficient. And NNN's open source approach is gaining a lot of traction.
So they're basically letting anyone contribute to their software.
Exactly. It's a community-driven approach to development.
I like that. And speaking of community, Mexico City-based Mendel just raised $35 million.
They're focused on serving the Latin American market, and their success is a testament to the growing tech scene in that region.
It's exciting to see innovation happening all over the world. Let's talk about Arcade, a generative AI marketplace. They started with jewelry design, but now they're expanding into home goods.
Rugs, to be specific.
AI-designed rugs. Who would have thought?
It's amazing how versatile generative AI is. It can be applied to so many different industries.
And speaking of AI, a former CEO of Outreach named Manny Medina has launched a new startup called Paid.
And they just secured an impressive $11 million in pre-seed funding.
Pre-seed. That's like the earliest stage of funding.
It is. But Paid is focused on AI agent payment, which is a hot area right now. So investors are clearly excited about their potential.
On the venture capital front, Emergence Capital has closed a $1 billion fund focused on B2B companies and AI.
That's a lot of money to throw around.
It is.
Yeah.
But it just shows how much faith VCs have in the future of AI.
Absolutely. And French VC firm Daphne has also announced the first closing of its third fund at around $215 million.
So there's plenty of money flowing into European tech as well.
It's a global phenomenon. Even Amazon's Alexa fund is expanding its focus to include general AI companies.
They're not just about voice anymore.
Right. They're recognizing that AI is going to touch every aspect of technology.
For sure. And finally, a new report has highlighted the world's 20 hottest open source startups.
And guess what?
Over half of them are focused on AI.
You got it. Open source is a major driving force behind AI innovation.
Okay, just a quick reminder for all you iPhone users out there. You can now set WhatsApp as your default calling and messaging app if you're on version 25.8.74.
Head to Settings, then Apps, then Default Apps, and you're good to go.
And while we're on the subject of social media, Meta has introduced a Friends tab on Facebook in the US and Canada.
It's supposed to prioritize posts from your actual friends, which is a welcome change for a lot of people.
I know, I'm tired of seeing ads and random posts from people I barely know.
It's a step in the right direction. Now let's talk about some incredible developments in medicine. A paralyzed man in Japan has regained the ability to stand after receiving stem cell injections.
That's incredible.
It is. The trial was conducted by Keio University in Tokyo, and they used reprogrammed stem cells to treat spinal cord injuries.
So they basically took regular cells and turned them into stem cells.
Right. And while the results have been mixed for other patients, the fact that this one man can now stand is a huge breakthrough.
It gives hope to people with spinal cord injuries.
Absolutely. And in another medical first, doctors in China have successfully transplanted a genetically modified pig liver into a human patient.
A pig liver.
Yeah. It's called xenotransplantation. The idea is to use animal organs to address the shortage of human organs available for transplant.
And it worked.
Well, the liver functioned for 10 days without any signs of rejection.
That's amazing.
It is. But it's important to note that this was a temporary measure to keep the patient alive until a human donor organ became available.
Still, it's a significant step forward in xenotransplantation. Now, let's dive back into the digital world. Open source developers are facing a new challenge. AI bots.
Those pesky bots are at it again.
It seems like they're ignoring the robots.txt protocol, which tells bots which parts of a website they shouldn't crawl.
So they're basically overstaying their welcome on these open source projects.
Exactly. And that's causing problems, because these projects often have limited resources. They can't handle all the traffic from these bots.
So what's the solution?
Well, some clever developers have come up with a solution called Anubis. It's a reverse proxy proof-of-work system.
So it basically makes the bots do a little bit of work before they can access the server.
Right. And that helps to deter these resource-intensive bots while still allowing legitimate users to access the projects.
Pretty smart. In other AI news, OpenAI is stepping up its efforts to support research in AI-native cybersecurity.
So using AI to fight AI.
Exactly. They're offering microgrants and expanding their focus to areas like model privacy and the security of AI agents.
It's like a digital arms race.
It is, but it's an important one. We need to make sure that AI is used for good, not for harm.
And speaking of good AI, Anthropic has released 2 new studies that look at how their Claude models plan and reason.
It's like trying to understand the inner workings of an AI's mind.
It's fascinating stuff. And they've also shared some data on how their Claude 3.7 Sonnet model is being used in the real world.
It's being used for everything from coding to education to healthcare.
It's amazing how quickly AI is becoming integrated into our lives. Now, for a quick security update, Mozilla has patched a bug in the Windows version of Firefox.
Apparently, this bug was being exploited to access other apps and data on people's computers.
So if you're using Firefox on Windows, make sure you update your browser ASAP.
Seriously. Don't wait on this one.
In gaming news, Krafton, the company behind PUBG, has acquired a controlling stake in Nautilus Mobile.
Nautilus Mobile makes the real cricket game, which is hugely popular in India.
So Krafton is making a big bet on the Indian mobile gaming market.
It's a smart move. India has a massive population of mobile gamers.
Speaking of smart moves, Certiverse just raised $11 million in Series A funding.
Certiverse is a certification platform that helps people validate their tech skills.
In today's job market, certifications are becoming increasingly important.
Employers want to know that you have the skills to do the job.
And Certiverse is making it easier for people to get certified.
Exactly. We also came across an interesting healthcare AI app called Taxo.
What does Taxo do?
It uses what they call a reasoning engine to help with things like prior authorizations and medical billing.
So it's basically an AI assistant for healthcare administrators.
That's one way to put it. And it could make a big difference in streamlining the healthcare system.
Hopefully it'll help to reduce costs and improve patient care. Now, for some thought-provoking AI ethics, Wired recently profiled the founders of Anthropic.
Anthropic is another AI research lab, and their goal is to create good guy, artificial general intelligence.
AGI, for short. That's basically AI that's as smart as a human.
And Anthropic wants to make sure that AGI is aligned with human values and operates safely and ethically.
It's an ambitious goal, but it's an important one.
For sure. We need to be thinking about the long-term consequences of AI. Now, remember CoreWeave, the AI chip maker that's going public?
Yeah, what about them?
Well, they finally priced their IPO at $40 a share.
That's lower than their initial target range.
It is, but they still raised $1.5 billion.
That's not bad. In legal news, a judge has ordered the Trump administration to preserve Signal messages.
Signal is an encrypted messaging app.
Right. And apparently some Trump administration officials were using it to discuss plans against the Houthis in Yemen.
And some of those messages were accidentally shared publicly.
Oops.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even encrypted messages can be leaked.
And it also raises questions about government transparency.
Absolutely. Now, for some good news for Android developers in the UK.
What's that?
Google is finally allowing them to use third-party billing options in the Google Play Store.
So developers won't be forced to use Google's own billing system anymore.
Right. This is a big win for developers, and it could lead to lower prices for consumers.
I like the sound of that. WhatsApp has a fun new feature for those who like to share status updates.
What is it?
You can now add short music clips to your status.
That's a cool way to personalize your updates.
And for all you Zelda fans out there, the live-action Zelda movie finally has a release date.
Mark your calendars for March 2027.
That's a long way off.
It is, but at least we know when to expect it.
Now for a cautionary tale from the startup world. Charlie Gervais, the founder of Frank, has been found guilty of fraud.
Frank was that startup that JP Chase acquired for $175 million?
Right. And Gervais was accused of inflating the number of users Frank had to make the company look more attractive to buyers.
And the jury found her guilty.
It's a reminder that honesty is still the best policy.
Absolutely. And finally, one last reminder about Elon Musk's big acquisition.
XAI buying X for $33 billion.
It's a deal that could reshape the tech landscape.
And that's it for this week's deep dive into bite-sized tech.
We covered a lot of ground today.
We did, from AI image generators to electric vehicles to the latest startup funding rounds.
The tech world never stands still.
It's what makes it so exciting. Now here's a thought to ponder. If AI is already creating stunning visuals and writing code, what's next?
It's a question worth asking. What will the future of AI hold?
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.